Now there seems to be sound. All right, which means that I need to restart. Yeah, damn it. This is always like when you're doing a live stream, it's always something that is missing. But now then, let me restart. And as I mentioned, this will be available on my LinkedIn profile, and hopefully I will be able to cut out the first part, which means I have 45 minutes to do this. I'm going to make it, but it's going to be exciting to see how we're going to do this. All right. So please confirm. I was looking at comments. I don't see any comments. Do you have you written anything in the comments? There is something that is, because I don't see any comments. Right. But I guess you do. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. Now let's restart, because I think now you are seeing and hearing everything. Rika, can you confirm that you're hearing me now? I'm just going to assume that you can hear me, and I'm going to wait for a text message from Rika. All right. So let's start from the beginning. My name is Fredrik Holmbo, as I mentioned, and today we're going to talk about commercial excellence in pharma, AI, and tailored customer engagement. And first of all, I just want to mention that, as I said, that this recording will be available on my profile. And talking about my profile, just quickly, I want to show you that if you are going to my profile, you can see my like here. So on this, where the pen is at the moment, okay, like Rickard. All right. So this is going to be interesting, seeing myself like this. But all right, so on my profile, I'm going to publish live streams like this. I'm going to publish things focused on generative AI, and I'm going to do that, what I've done the past few months. And if you don't want to miss any of it, you can click where this pen is. There is a notification bell, and with that click, you will be able to get the notifications about when I post something like this. So what I want to also briefly mention is this live stream that will happen on May the 8th, 8:30. So you can find this also on my profile, I guess, in my feed, because I just booked or scheduled this one. So have a look at this, because this was a presentation that I did at Swedish Lab Tech last week, end of last week, and it, I would say, is a very, very interesting perspective on generative AI, trend scoring, what's happening, where we are, and the development up until now. And then also I'm going to share some really, really useful content creation tools, research tools, tools that you basically can use for free, but a limited use. Maybe let's say that you can ask five questions to perplex the AI, for instance, for free. I will go through all of that in this session on Wednesday next week. So look at that. Rather register for that. Let's now dive into the presentation for now. So commercial excellence in pharma, AI, and tailored customer engagement. I want to walk through this really quick. As most of you know, I worked in pharma since 2006. I worked with a lot of pharma companies. Becoming a consultant 2013 makes that number and the companies I worked with, move a bit faster. I also worked with US Pharmacopoeia in Washington. In Retainer, I built or created the strategy for their global content communication content strategy. I heard that 80% of their global traffic is due to that content strategy, which is kind of amazing. Also worked with Genoptic in Germany and Biotage. All of these are on global levels. I also had Microsoft as a client where I worked with their partners, educating them in inbound marketing and building content strategies for them, which was a very fun like proof of concept that what I talk about and what we tend to do in collaborations with companies when we build content strategies works even in IT. And then I've been chairman of the board for the Sales and Marketing University, and I do a lot of educational things as well. If we aren't connected on LinkedIn, please let's connect. I have a very amazing network, and I can just say that having more followers and a bigger network on LinkedIn is far better than saying I just want to connect with those that I met, because it just provides you with a larger fishnet, if you will, when it comes to getting good content in your own feed. So it's much better. And of course, when you post something, it means that you get a better spread if you're interested in that. So articles I've written close to 20 articles for the pharmaceutical industry magazine. All of them focus on digital marketing in one way or another, and a few of them are translated and on my LinkedIn profile as well. So have a look there, and if there's any of these things that you would like to see or like to do, there is, from here you can book a 1-hour call with me on this link if there's something you want to discuss. Right, so let's move on. The topics for today is why customer segmentation fails to support tailored digital customer engagement, and the huge difference between sales communication and marketing communication, semantics and its role in digital transformation, and the exact process to generate impactful content marketing with AI. And I'm going to show you a few use cases, but I've also done other things as well. So I'm going to show you 2 things that I think no one of you have seen before. I was talking about these books, and I read tons of books. I listened to tons of podcasts and watched so many webinars and YouTube clips. I know that I've been in the generative AI rabbit hole for more than 900 hours since I started early last year. But these books, if you summarize them, they say that digital transformation concerns us all, either if you work with it directly or indirectly, and then communications are alive, adapted to this situation, your customers' needs, the recipient's needs right now. And if you're in marketing or if you're in sales, you must look at the data. It's like there's no option to that anymore. If you don't want to do that work, someone else will be, open to doing that because they've understood that today everything is data driven. It's not gut feeling driven. So based on insights, just do that now. All right. And the customer, and I'm going to talk about personas because I have an inbound marketing like training, and that's my focus. That's my really deep like specialization. The customer, the persona must be the focal point of all initiatives. And if you can't define the persona for an initiative, you shouldn't do it. Like sometimes in pharma, we do something that we have done it for ever and ever, and we think like we need to do it. We need to go to that conference. We need to do this or that. But if you're talking about customers and as a group and saying that's the reason why we're there, that is also no longer like enough because you need to have on this conference. We go there because our persona Anna will be there. We know that. And as we are targeting Anna on this conference, what we have on our backdrops, what we have on our table, what we have that we showcase must be tailored to Anna. That's the only really good way to do it. And then be curious, like your professional life depends on it. The presentation that I did at Swedish Lab Take last week, end of last week, and also the one that I'm going to do then on Wednesday now, the 8th at 8:30. Register for it. Just highlight how fast things are moving, and you're going to get a lot of different advice on AI platforms to use. And you will understand that things are moving really fast. One thing, like a cliffhanger, is that GPT-5 will most likely come end of this year. That means within 6 to 8 months, potentially. And by then, if you haven't included AI in your organization, like big thinkers, people that are having dinners with NVIDIA's CEO, were on stage. I was there. I heard them say, like, when GPT-5 comes, there will be just a few months, and companies that aren't using AI will be gone, and the companies that are using AI won't have a competitive advantage like we have now. They will be on par with other companies that are using generative AI. It will be like this. Companies that aren't using generative AI won't be here. All right. Hard truth, but yeah. So let's just confirm that the world is changing. It always have, it always will. So when we are talking about going back to the basics is always changing, and it is exciting. It's also a bit scary if you look at the girl in the bottom right. Like, it can be a bit scary. But the only approach to this, from my perspective, is to get the basics in to the organization, like teaching everybody, this is how you create an OpenAI ChatGPT account. This is what to think about when you start out a conversation with an AI, large language model AI. This is how you can generate images for free, so you can play around. This is how you can generate videos. This is how you can so on and so forth, right? Because when the pandemic hit, the way we worked, the way we interacted changed dramatically. But when I was actually discussing like the implications of COVID for our work day, workplace, how we interact, and then compare that to the changes that generative AI will bring, the word that was used was profound change. Like, it will be profound, right? And in a very fast-paced moving environment, if you're a leader in that environment, semantics becomes so much more important to get in place. Like semantics, what is that? That is the meaning of words. What is multi-channel marketing? Or even more fun to discuss, what is omni-channel marketing? So if we just have a look at a few of the words, like outbound marketing versus inbound marketing. Outbound marketing is when you are working commercially with like radio ads, TV ads, billboard ads. When you have a big budget, you will win. When you have a smaller budget, you have a hard time because you won't like have the ability to create that much noise as if you would have had a big budget. Inbound marketing is something that I can do as a one-person company, something that I have, as I mentioned, like built a content strategy around for Envirotainer on a global level. You can do it because the principles applies to small companies all the way to big companies, which means define your persona, understand what that persona wants and needs in terms of your offering, and then do that, create that content, and search engine optimize it, make sure that you're on social media, and make sure that you are like super narrow in a conversation. Then you will win this. Content marketing, same thing as inbound marketing. For me, it's slightly different, but it's like just two concepts of the same thing. And then we have multi-channel marketing and omni-channel marketing. What are the meaning of these words? Semantics. Then we have customer satisfaction versus customer experience versus customer engagement. What is the meaning of these words? Let's just say that customer satisfaction is a customer that's have had a good customer experience and are satisfied, right? And the thing is that customer experience can also be bad, right? And if it's good, if it's bad, if the customer is like engaging with you and you are seeing customer engagement, it can actually be both good or bad, depending on the customer experience, right? So customer engagement, we want that. We are talking about that. Tailored customer engagement is the topic of this live stream. But one thing to consider is that if the customer aren't the focal point of everything that you do, and you ensure that you have defined the customer journey, the buyer journey, the customer engagement risks being like not good. So when it comes to leading an organization through fast change, semantics becomes very important. So why does then customer segmentation fail to support tailored customer engagement? Well, that is, and I've been sort of leaning into that answer already, but segments aren't enough. Because what are segments? Well, if we look at Viva, for instance, the CRM system that we have customer segments quite often, right? It's either A, B, C, D, E customers, it's gold, silver, bronze, it's some kind of definition of customers. And if you think about it, they are almost always abstract in the way that they are named. And quite often it's not a very in-depth description of the segment. So let's take not ABC, not gold, silver, bronze. Let's say take cautiously progressive as a segment. I think most of you have that segment in one way or another. They're kind of progressive individuals in your customer group that you think like they are about to move. They're about to either prescribe or they're going to increase prescription because they are progressive, right? But they're also cautious, and they're cautious because of a few things. What that is for your customers in your customer segment, that is something that you in your team knows absolutely best. But this segment tends to be a very good segment to focus on digitally when it comes to digital communication. This also means that if we have sales reps out there meeting these customers, the cautiously progressive ones, they must be, as I mentioned, based on insights. All communication must be alive and based on insights. The sales reps must feed in information into your CRM system, and your CRM system must be fit for purpose. Like you must be able to tag certain things like channel preferences. You must be able to do that. You must be able to put in information that then makes it possible to filter out a certain group of customers. This is paramount. It's so freaking important, because the one size fits all, the one email that goes out to your entire email list, that kind of thing, just don't do it. I and I think this was 2016, 17 or something like that. I was a consultant at the company, and I actually said that I won't send out an email to an entire email list, even though that was asked of me. And why didn't I do that? Well, because the like main topic of that email was based, or going to be based on a research paper that was like delayed and delayed and delayed. The rest of the content of the first email that we had created was what I tend to call like a pat on the shoulder type of content. Like if I send that out, someone reads that, what they will get is the feeling like, oh, well, that's good for you. Happy for you. Like, and no one has time to read that if they're not like super interested in your company. And most people, to be honest, aren't, right? So I said that I won't send out this email to the whole customer group, the whole email list, because it will be like detrimental. Is that the word? Like bad for us, basically, right? So we delayed, we waited until we got that research paper, because when it comes to what's really important for like tailored customer engagement is that we not just know the channel preferences. Are they interested in interacting with us digitally or physically, in evening meetings, in webinars? Do they want to have like a paper in their hand when they're reading about our product? Do they want to get it like a digital, not print then, but of course a digital version of the same content? How do they want to interact with us, in which channel, but then also what content, what topics are they actually interested in? And if you consider, and I'm going to talk about this soon, but a sales meeting is exactly that. Like in a sales meeting, this information is available, and you have something to deliver, and you can do that, and you can adapt that delivery to the group, to the person that you're meeting in a digital context. That's not to feed in information to the CRM system so that it becomes possible to be really, really narrow and granular in how you filter out the communication that you send out. And to be able to do something like this, marketeers are no longer solely responsible for good marketing, because it is a cross-departmental collaborative effort. It is. I've talked about personas, and just to quickly touch on that, because I want to show you AI use cases. Personas must be the focal point. I mean, you cannot have tailored customer engagement if you don't have personas defined. You can't. And why is that? Let's say that you're talking about segments, right? You have segments in your CRM system, and you have cautiously progressive. Do this. Ask your sales team to write how they perceive the cautiously progressive customer segment. Individually, they write it down, and then you collect those answers. You will have, if you have 5 people writing it, you will have 5 different answers. I can guarantee that. Why? Because, as I mentioned, an abstract name with a too short description of your segment leaves too much room for interpretation. And like, this is how I perceive it, because my reality is that I work in middle of Sweden or middle of Norway or middle of wherever, and this is how this customer is for me. Then you have someone working in your capital with a university hospital, and in that setting, that segment is something entirely different. So how will you ever be able to have like relevant, valuable information over time if you have that issue that you're just focusing on the segment description? Well, I think it's quite obvious that you need to have like persona descriptions. So you sit down, and I want to show you like a framework that I've used basically 20 companies at this time, walking them through how to get to this place where you have these personas in place. So the persona is your ideal desired customer, semi-fictional representation based on real data, educated guesses, and in-depth interviews about where they are, how they act, what motivates them, and how they take decisions in relation to your offerings. I mean, that is your medicines, your products, your services, whatever. And this is what you need to have in place. So why do we need personas? Why don't we just use descriptions of our target market? Well, it's hard to speak to sales segments. You cannot do that. And if we look at this, 4 very different head physicians, all these 4 can be in a room. The sales rep can be there, and depending on questions, let's say that this guy asks something, the message can be adapted to him. I mean, the main commercial message, the sales message that's going to be delivered in that room, according to the plan, can be adapted to him. But let's just say that this woman or this guy or this woman asks something. They have, and I try to make, I mean, quite stereotypical images, but their questions might be different and they might be coming from a different, perspective into this. So, but if you don't decide who of these you're going to focus on, if this guy is your most important customer, or this woman, or you must decide, right? Which is the one where we feel that we will have most impact with our commercial communication for this segment. Because at the end of the day, we want to be spoken to, not at. Your audience needs to feel that you know them. That is what creates relevance over time, and what we want to achieve is this: wow, this company actually provides useful stuff over time. That's the thing. So what you do is, if we say that this is your market and this is time, what we've done as an industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, and most likely most companies do this, if they haven't done this homework, they are targeting the whole market in one way or another over time. They can be here, all over the place, depending on and time. But what you must do is create, okay, so in our communication, this is Anna. This is a content funnel over time, content pipeline. And in this, we have our communication interactions, touch points. And if we are targeting Anna in this content pipeline, she will feel like, wow, this company actually provides useful stuff over time. They don't send me something that I like and then something that I don't like, and then, oh, this I like. But, over time, it must be focused, which means that the customer, Anna, must be the focal point of all your initiatives, or Gunnar, or Anneli, And typically, one product needs 2, most often 3 different personas. If you think about it, it's like the doctor, it's the nurse, it's the payer, it's potentially the patient. So consider your content pipelines in order to be able to be relevant over time. Super, super, super important. Because if we consider the persona and we consider the sales meeting, that is always with the persona in focus. You cannot be in a sales situation saying like, well, yeah, no, that was an interesting question, doctor, but I have another thing I want to talk about. I don't think you're going to do that. You will answer the question and you will adapt the question, the answer to the question, to the person as you have perceived him or her, with body language, tonality, all the, signals that you can perceive. So that is like how there's a big difference between sales communication and marketing communication. Because the sales reps are doing this. They are focused on what they're interested in, and they are like, okay, so that is what they're interested in. How can I now adapt my sales message to fit this need? That's when it becomes relevant. So we become philosophical kind of fast, but content is everything in communication. What you're seeing now, what you're hearing now, everything is content. Influencers moving to Marbella to get better content. But it's also a package to be delivered. And one thing is that if it's a package to be delivered and it's created at your European headquarters, and this is of course your European headquarters, the sales rep can adapt it. But if it's on a screen, it's no longer adaptable, which means personas. So do the homework and get the fundamentals down, because if you get this in place, I promise you, because I've seen it over and over and over again, everything else that you're doing, all the internal discussions, what should we focus on? What should we put our budget on? What should we... Everything will be much easier, even your data analysis, because if you have this and you have a content pipeline like this, understanding the data collected from this content pipeline, it's much easier to do if you are doing this and you're here all over the place like this. This data is far too broad, too unspecific, and it's very difficult to understand. Everything you do will rise. And Michael Jordan, I think, as he said it, I think he proved the point quite fast. And I mentioned I just want to show you a framework from which we have been doing this, and it is a content excellence model in 3 steps, 3 workshops. The first workshop is a full day. It's education, it's change management, it's getting the semantics in place, it's getting understanding what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're focusing. And most of all, it's not disruptive to what you're doing today. It's something that will improve what you're doing in 4 to 6 months. It's not disruptive today. It's going to improve what you're doing in 4 to 6 months. So the first day is a full day, larger group, because you want to have this knowledge in your teams. And then we have a half day, the B, which is the buyer focus, buyer journey, buyer persona. And then the C is the content strategy. And there's very well-defined steps, and I have been evolving these steps the last 5-6 years, testing different sizes of groups, testing different approaches to what should be included. And I found that what I have now is like the perfect thing. So the B, half day, smaller group, can be done virtually. The first day is on site, because what we're doing there needs to be on site, because it's going to be brainstorming, it's going to be collaboration in groups, it's going to be things that must be done in person. But the second half day is going to be easier, smaller group, can be done virtually. And then the C is also half day, an even smaller group, because here we are focusing on exactly what we're going to be doing. We're basically in this session lining up the ducks of commercial communication, and you can then shoot them down one by one in different formats, which is the plus then, like films, articles, social media, seminars, webinars, brochures, all of that. So this framework has proven itself over and over and over again. And I really think that if you are struggling or are thinking like we aren't competitive enough, our communication aren't crisp enough, book that meeting with me. You have a link on my LinkedIn profile, and we can just have a quick chat about that. Okay? So start curious, and with having content pipelines like this, you get data that you can actually be obsessed about. So you've done the homework, and well, everything else, you have the fundamentals in place, everything else you do will rise. Not disrupting what you're doing today, it will have you be better in 4 to 6 months. Okay, so let's look at the AI use cases. Let's look at the first one, and this is HEP focused communication. And I actually just recorded my screen. I was speaking at a commercial excellence conference in Vienna in September last year. I spoke the second day. I was there the first day, listened to all the other fantastic speakers, and they, mentioned conceptually AI, and I am a very hands-on guy. For me, when I've heard something on a mission level or conceptually, we all, if we're working in this and if we're curious people, we are like in a place where we have a good understanding of the basics, the conceptual concepts. Sorry, but we have that in place. We must see something that is hands-on, which means that I recorded my screen in the evening after wining and dining, sitting in my hotel room, doing this. And I follow a lot of different profiles, and let's see if I can pause this. But right, so what happened was that on that first X feed, I saw Check is Easy, which is a senior Google DeepMind scientist, researcher and scientist, and she had this GIF on her profile where they had taken specialized AI algorithms like this, and they had put them all together into generalist bio medical AI. All right, so I figured, I wonder if they have published some papers, which of course they had. So they had published 2 papers. Let's see if I can show them, like towards generalist, large language models. And I went to Claude, which is one of 3 major. Oh, there are more. Like if you have ChatGPT, you have Claude, and you have Gemini, which is Google's. But then you have Mistral, and then you have Llama, and then you have, so there are a lot of different large language models. One is coming from China now, I read just a few days ago. It's going to be interesting when they now are releasing AI to see what that means. But anyway, Claude, I uploaded the PDF to Claude, and I wrote this prompt, and I began getting like the summary. If you write summary, please give me a summary. It tends to become quite short, so I asked it to expand, and then I uploaded a second PDF, and I did the same. And as you can see, you never get the perfect answer straight away. You need to discuss back and forth. But what I wanted to do is get to this point where I have a video script, a voiceover script for a video that is called like a faceless video. There's no talking head like me. I'm a talking head. There are just B-rolls supporting the message. Let's see. It is difficult to run this, but let's go ahead. And what I got was then I got that, and then I went to 11 Labs, as you can see, and I put that in. Medicine is complex. This is how.
Medicine is complex. Doctors need to interpret many types of data like medical images, lab tests, and clinical notes to make diagnoses.
Well, I assume, as there's a 30-second delay, I'm going to just assume that it works. So I got that, and then I went to InVideo, where the same video script, medicine is complex, doctors need to interpret many types of data like medical images, lab tests. One paragraph becomes one scene. This is one scene, and then you have the B-rolls that are like offered as suggestions from the platform. And then you can change this. You can put your logo here. You can change. I mean, you can change everything. This is like a video editing platform as well. You can change everything so that it fits your brand profile, and you can then adapt this, change colors, everything. And the question I always get. Now I'm going to play this.
Medicine is complex. Doctors need to interpret many types of data like medical images, lab tests, and clinical notes to make diagnoses and decide on treatments. This is difficult even for experts, but what if artificial intelligence could help? AI systems today are narrow. They can interpret one type of data for a single task. For example, read X-rays to detect lung disease, but they can't incorporate other relevant information like a patient's clinical history or research literature to improve their analysis. In this video, we'll cover exciting new research to develop more flexible generalist AI systems for medicine and explain why this could be transformative for the future of healthcare.
All right, so as you can see, there is a story where it talked about AI algorithms of today cannot, and so on and so forth. But now, So there is sort of a story that collects the progression from individualized, specialized AI algorithms to like the generalist biomedical AI that was found in these two articles. So I think it's kind of amazing how you can take some kind of knowledge foundation, like 2 PDFs, but it can also be a webinar. It can be basically you have some kind of content, and then you put it into the AI black box, which I tend to think of it as like a black box. And then you prompt and you do the work. And what you can get out is either a social media post, email, sequences, series, videos like this one, or basically, blog article. Basically any format that you can think of. I bet that they even can make a song about this on Zuno. But what I want to say is that for us in pharma, it's important to know the foundation of the foundation of the knowledge, so we know the sources, and then we prompt, we mold, we work with that knowledge to create basically what we want. And then the most common question I get is, what can we upload? Well, if there is a version of the thing, like the PDF, if it's online, I would bet that it's public. If it's online, it's available. Don't upload data on file. Don't upload lists of people's contact information. Don't upload, and your gut feeling there will decide. But if it's already on the internet, I would say that if you don't have any rules that regulates this internally at your company, you will be able to have this. You will be able to use it in a thing like this. Okay, so that was that. I'm going to now do another thing. I'm going to share a use case with you that I have not shared before. It's going to be kind of interesting. And that is this one. Now, give me 1 second. It's on my LinkedIn profile. So going back to this, just another like register for this trend scoring generative AI. It's going to be a really good presentation. Like jantelagen slängde i väggen. But it's going to be really good. And if we move into my profile, down here, I uploaded this one. All right, share sound.
Fun to be here. Det är jättekul att vara här idag. Det är jättekul att vara här idag. Och nu ska jag säga det här på många olika språk.
Now,
it's really fun to be here today.
And
now I'm going to say this in many different languages. Es muy divertido estar aquí hoy. Y ahora voy a decir esto en muchos idiomas diferentes. Es ist wirklich toll, heute hier zu sein. Und jetzt werde ich das in vielen verschiedenen Sprachen sagen. C'est vraiment amusant d'être ici aujourd'hui. Et maintenant, je vais le dire dans de nombreuses langues différentes. Очень здорово быть здесь сегодня, и теперь я скажу это на многих разных языках. आज यहाँ होना बहुत मजेदार है, और अब मैं इसे कई अलग-अलग भाषाओं में कहने जा रहा हूँ.
All right. So you heard me speak like 5 or 6 different languages. The last one was Hindi. I thought that was kind of fun. Arabic. Well, Russian, Spanish, French, English. What's the use cases of this, do you think? Write something in the comments, because I know, because I've done this for a few companies now, I know how this can change. Let's say that you have something amazing, an amazing material that you spend a lot of money on in Germany or in wherever. It doesn't really matter. If it's one of the large languages in the world, you can bet that AI is very good at translating that into another language. Okay, so that's one. Using AI avatars like this is something else that you can do, which is, you can create a video series with a KOL. You can run a webinar. you can send personalized messages to your customer that can be predefined. The text that the AI is saying can be predefined or adjusted by you. The use cases for this is basically endless. And if you want to know more about this, then just, well, book a meeting with me and we can talk about it, right? And then the last use case, and this can be found on my YouTube channel, Pharma AI Guy. This is actually the name I'm going to use from now on because, well, it's not claimed. I'm going to talk about, or I am talking about AI. I spent 900 plus hours in AI the last year and a half, and I have worked in pharma since 2006. So why not, right? So if we look at my videos, live streams are here. You can just have a look. This is
Shaping the future.
really,
The future
really
of
amazing use case that I haven't shown a lot of you. So I was speaking at the like commercial excellence for medical affairs in Vienna. I was a chairperson, so I introduced all the speakers, said hello and goodbye, and all of that. It was my first international conference that I did that at, and it was super, super fun. I'm going to do it in September again, and I'm going to do it more. Basically, I'm going to do it more. It's just so much fun. With that, I had a chance to talk to the speakers beforehand, and the four first speakers of the conference, I asked them, can I record your voice, just your voice? I want to test something. And then what I did was that I recorded their voice. I turned their speaking into text so that it could be used by ChatGPT. And then I had an arm wrestling bout for 6 hours, I think, to get the prompting right and getting the output right. But what I got back then was a summary of the four speakers, what they said, what they highlighted, the key takeaways, and how they supported each other's messages across different presentations. And this turned into a almost 5-minute video. But this is the way that you can then report back from international congresses to your home market, to your home customers, really, really quick. Imagine you're doing this, you're recording the four speakers before lunch, and then you have that prompt that I spent 6 hours doing, or something similar. You do it yourself, but then you have a teleprompter like I have, and then tripod, your iPhone or smartphone, and then you have the script, and you can be there at the conference with the microphone, just reporting back like a news anchor from your international congress. I'm going to play this.
pharma marketing, key insights from the second Pharma Summit, digital strategy and innovation for medical affairs that took place in Vienna, February 2024. The pharma landscape is evolving rapidly. With new technologies, regulations, and customer expectations, how can pharma marketers adapt and innovate? At the Pharma Summit in Vienna, industry experts provided valuable insights
So
into
we're not going to watch the whole 5 almost minutes of this, but you can find it on my YouTube channel for my AI guy. So it feels a bit, a bit like, yeah, cool name. But anyway, what I want to say now is that on my profile, you can book meetings with me. You can do that. You can do that. You can send me messages, and then there's a notification bell here. Click that, and you will be notified about all these live streams. And I will be doing live streams like just because I get it. Like, this is going to be super cool. I want to share this with my network. So there will be like spontaneous live streams as well. Click this, you will be notified. Then make sure that you don't miss the
Det är jättekul att vara här idag. Och nu ska jag säga det här
you
på
can
många
find
olika
it
språk.
on my LinkedIn profile, the trend scoring event, right? You can find that. And if you want to talk AI overall, well, just send me a message. And I'm going to end now. 2 minutes past 9:30. Sorry for the sound issues in the beginning. It's amazing how some small detail always tends to be missing. But I hope you found this useful. share it with your colleagues, and I hope to talk more in the future, because this is one really super interesting topic. With that, over and out for now, and talk